Hello, horror fans. Welcome to the Horror Fan in a Van podcast. If you have not yet already, hit that subscribe button and comment down below to what you guys want to see on the next episodes to come. Last week we covered The Green Inferno and It Follows, and this week we'll be covering new horror trailers and short films. Maybe with a little movie review at the end. But before we get into that, I would like to take a moment to look into our sponsors. Do you love coffee? Do you love cool artwork? Then let me tell you a secret. Go to our friends over at www.rhetoriccoffee.com and get yourself a bag of delicious ethical coffee. If you use product code Oracle1 before checkout, you guys get 30% off your next order. I personally, on the next episode, will be opening up a bag and tasting it on the show. Thank you guys, and let's get into the short film. So, if you guys have noticed, if you guys gotten this far into the podcast, we're changing it up a little bit. I'm not going to be doing um, we're going to do the trailers first before the short films. But basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, if there's new trailers and there's couple short films that I like, I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to go and do the movie reviews. With that being said, let's get into the first trailer, which is technically the second trailer of It. It is going to be a reboot, which is the same story as the one previously, which is considered a classic. It's a Stephen King book. They turned it into a movie, and it's a great movie. The original was a great movie, and I'm pretty sure that this one's going to be a great film. I love, not necessarily that I love reboots, but it's just a sense of, like, I want to go to the movies and see horror movies that I think will become like classics when we're like 40, 50 years old. I'm not saying that it is probably going to be a classic, but it's still pretty good. Um, the trailer looks phenomenal. It recreates the scene where the main character makes his brother a paper sailboat, and the trailer just shows or the first trailer just shows the sailboat floating in the water after the rain goes into the storm drain. Brother goes there, and then it flashes forward a little bit. Second trailer is where you get your first real look at Pennywise the clown, and man, he may have a little bit of resemblance of Jimmy Neutron with the big old head, but man, he does look scary as hell. I hate clowns, man. Moving on to the next segment, which is still on the same trailer, but we're going to play a little game called Yay or Nay. Basically, Yay or Nay is a game where yay is that I will be going to go see it in the theaters, and nay is I'll wait until it comes out either on demand or on DVD. And I do gotta say, I'm gonna give this one a big fucking yay. I gotta go see it in the theaters, guys. I gots to. Now, moving on to the next trailer, which is It Comes at Night. Now, I'm not sure if this one's getting released in theaters or it's just gonna be like straight to like Netflix or straight to box or Netflix. Not Netflix. I just said Netflix. Straight to Redbox. But It Comes at Night looks like a survival horror movie. Maybe zombie apocalypse, or I was thinking like Wendigos a little bit. They don't really explain too terribly much, but this trailer looks phenomenal. Um, Basically, it opens with a guy that's tied to a tree. Um, Guy comes up with a gas mask, says, "Do you have any idea what's going on out there?" He says no, invites him into the house, and lays out a bunch of rules. No going outside at night, stick together in packs. Pretty much the basics, don't get yourself killed rules. And then he says he only has the key for the red door, and nobody else does. No one can get in, no one can get out without his say so. Um, Yay or nay? I'm giving this one a yay. I love I love zombie movies, or like undead movies. I know it gets overplayed a lot. I don't like the I don't like the rushed, crappy movies that use a bunch of CGI. I'm a huge fan of Dawn of the Dead. I like the original. I like the remake. I just feel like with zombie movies, you can have a lot of the uh, background characters real, and then have, like, if you want like a herd or something going off of Walking Dead. I love Walking Dead. If you had like a herd or something, you could just CG some of that stuff in to make it look bigger. But that's the problem. That's one of my main complaints with most of these new zombie movies, which is they use CG where CG doesn't need to. Like so many monster movies today, they use a lot of it. When I want to go back, and a lot of fans want to go back to when practical effects were used, and I really hope that they do a practical effect movie monster for this movie with any real movie like that. Like we see it all the time in The Walking Dead. Now there's no reason why you can't do that in a bigger budget movie. Like uh yay or nay, I said yay. I'm going to go see this one in the theaters if it comes out in theaters. Moving on to the next one, we have Apple Cart, which looks like a standard slasher film. We don't Not a lot is given in the trailer, really. Nothing that gives the plot away or anything, so I'm excited about that. Uh, the main villain or main antagonist kind of looks like Jason Voorhees with when he had the sack over his head before he got the mask. I'm gonna give this one a yay in the yay or nay game. It looks fairly decent. I mean, it's not gonna be up there with like Friday the 13th or anything. But I do love these standard slasher movies. I almost had standard flasher movies, but I'm gonna this one's a yay as well. Uh, Now Wish Upon is basically a movie about a girl that finds a pretty much a box that grants her wishes. It's like a paranormal box. She wishes for one of the bullies in the film to basically rot. I'm not sure she meant like rot in hell or whatever. But then it shows the bully waking up, looking in the mirror, and like she has like little patches of her skin rotting. It looked pretty badass, honestly. Um, but I will say I'm not a big. I feel like the paranormal uh, possession and all that has been really drawn out. A lot of um, a lot of movies have been doing it. I think the only ones that I care for and I go watch is like the Insidious, Sinister, all of them that really did really good in theaters. I watched all of them, but this one I'm going to give a nay just because I'm not really into the paranormal shit. Um, yeah, I don't really care for the paranormal activities. I hate them, honestly. Um, but moving on, we have one of these that is totally different from the others, which is 47 meters down. Now, some of you guys may not classify this as a horror movie, more like a survival story, pretty much. Um, but I'm classifying it as a horror movie because it plays into a lot of people's fears of being stuck underwater or being attacked by sharks. So, yeah, there's some good shark movies and there's some really bad ones. And this one gives a fresh take on the shark horror franchise. Uh, I will say I haven't. This one's not out yet, so I can't compare it to The Shallows. But when this one does come out, I'm going to do a 40. I'm going to do The Shallows versus the 47 meters down shark in the battles. It looks just as good as The Shallows, and The Shallows to me was a great film. There was one shot in there that really had me going. I really enjoyed that shot. It was a clever use of a GoPro, and I loved it. Yay or nay? I'm going to go with a yay, definitely. Now, now into our next segment called short films, and yeah, basically I'm gonna give you guys the name of the film, who it's made by, basic synopsis, and I'm gonna go through and rate. Now, if you guys are watching this and you guys know the people that made these films, I am in no way hating on these guys. I feel like they did all of them did a really good job. Even some of the shitty short films, they have a reason to be made. It's a dream of somebody else's. It's not my position to put those people down, so I'm not going to. I may give some of these guys a low rating, but that's just my opinion. I'm not going to be a dick about it, but let's jump in. So moving on, first we have The Glitch, made by Stromedy Production Films. The basic synopsis is a girl and a guy go on a date. Guy drops the girl off at her house. She wants him to stay over because she's kind of scared. She doesn't like being home alone. Parents aren't home. Uh, she's basically doing normal stuff. I think she's making tea, sitting on her couch. I'm hoping that a couple hours pass by, or at least half hour passes by, so the boyfriend can get home. Uh, Girlfriend sends a Snapchat to her boyfriend after telling him that she's home alone. She doesn't like it. Boyfriend texts back saying, "I thought you said you were alone." Uh, Girl responds, "I am alone. What are you talking about? Literally by myself right now." Uh, you see on the phone, takes a screenshot of the Snapchat, sends it back, and sees a shadow of a person behind her in the background. The shadow not After that, she figures out that she can only really she can see the shadow if she has her camera up to looking around. But I'm hoping that the camera, once it shined on the guy, that it allowed him to be seen by the person using the photo or taking the photo, because you you couldn't see the shadow, and then she put the phone up and you could see it, and then he glitched out and went away, and then she went and kind of ran towards the hallway. Then the shadow knocks her back, and basically stands over her with his arms crossed behind his back, kind of glitching out, and then his head kind of goes to the side, showing like a white baby mask. Um, and then it's the end. It's just called The Glitch, and it's really, I think it's like an 8-minute short film, and it's not that bad, honestly. Getting into the rating, we're going to rate story, beginning, middle, end, and visual effects. So, getting into the story, I gave it a 4 out of 10 just because it was good, but I don't really care for the paranormal. They did a good job for a low budget. I'm not sure if they had a budget at all, but if you guys see the other ones on this list, you'll understand why. Beginning, I gave a 2 out of 10 just because the acting kind of felt forced. Um, it was your standard uh, saying goodbye to the girlfriend, boyfriend. Boyfriend makes a joke about ghosts and all that. And plus, literally, because they didn't do a time fast forward. It was just her sitting on the couch, and then the boyfriend texts about a minute later saying, "I'm home," and that he already tucked his brother in to go to bed and everything. Middle, I gave a 3 out of 10, just because of the fact I didn't really understand about I'm going to call it entity because that's all I can really call it. I didn't understand how you couldn't see it until you had the camera up, but then she got attacked by it. I didn't understand that. And the ending I gave a 2 out of 10 because I kind of wish to see, like, they could have did like a little pan out to see like a girl's dead body or something. They didn't really tell us what happened. It just showed the glitch. And visual effects, I'm giving a 5 out of 10 just because I thought it was really cool when the entity was standing over the girl, how it had that kind of glitching walk where it was standing still, head was kind of moving a little bit, turned to the white mask, turned back up into the black, just the pitch black, and then he kind of just started scooting forward, and you couldn't see him take a step or anything. Overall, I'm giving it a 32% out of 100, and that's not a bad score if you look at the fact that it is 8 minutes long. But let's move over to the next one, which is Closet Space by Pony Smasher. Now, this movie gets right to the point, honestly. Uh, Main character puts a hanger into an empty closet. Here's a sort of a little tap, opens it back up, and there's an extra hanger. The closet was empty when she put the one hanger in, closed it, heard a sound, opened it back up. There was two hangers. Then she closed it again, opened it back up, and there was like 4 or 5 hangers. Every time she closes the door, a sound is heard, and then she uh, opens it to other hangers or hanger. Um, and then she figures that she takes all the hangers out. She looks at a little troll doll, puts it inside, and it multiplies too. So everything that you put in here multiplies. Then she calls David, which is either her boyfriend, brother, or roommate, and asks him to get in, kind of pushes him in, closes the door, opens it back up, and he just disappears. Um, then she leans in, calling out to David, closes the door multiple times. He does not appear. She goes into the closet, closes the door. After being in the dark, she sees footsteps outside the closet from underneath the door. She steps out, sees herself, and then she looks down to see David laying on the floor, dead. Then the clone of David comes out, hits the main character on the head with a frying pan, knocking her out, and then you see that's the end of it. So moving into the ratings, I gave the story an 8 out of 10 just because of its originality. It was I enjoyed watching it. The beginning I gave a 6 out of 10, just because I gave it this low. I mean, it is a 6, so it's above a 5. But I gave it this score just because I kind of felt it was good enough to get higher than a 5, but it kind of got off to a faster start, which was good, but you didn't really explain like how you found it or why you kept putting everything in. And there was really no like monster or anything in it either. Moving on to the middle, I gave it the same score just because I thought it was kind of funny that she kept putting stuff inside of the closet. I would have put money inside if I was just her. I'm just saying. At the end, I gave a 7 out of 10. I gave this one a 7 out of 10 just because I thought it was cool that they had the visual effects of having the clones of themselves, and they looked really cool. They didn't look fake or anything. You couldn't see any lines. It didn't look like there was a green screen or anything. Kind of looked rather real. So with that being said, let's move over to the visual effects. I gave a 9 out of 10 just because of the way that the clones looked. They didn't look fake. They didn't have to say anything. That was cool. And they didn't have those like signature Photoshop lines and all that in them. So overall, I'm giving this a 72% out of 100. I really enjoyed this film. Kudos to the guys that made it, which I'll say it again, which is Pony Smasher. So, I think this is the last one. Yep, this is the last one. So this one is titled The Birch, which is by Crypt TV. It centers around the bullied kid who gets beat up a lot. Uh, then it flashes back to her grandmother on her deathbed, giving him a witch's book and tells him to go into the woods, look for a mark. He then finds the mark in the woods, recites the text. Um, the bully followed him into the woods, holds a knife to his throat. Then a tree-like monster, which looked amazing, comes out looking flawless. The grandmother then flashes back to the grandmother. Then it states, "Good children with love in their hearts will be helped by her." Um, then it flashes forward to the kid and the birch monster holding hands, looking down at the bloody body of the bully, and now getting on to the ratings. Um, for story, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. It was original. It actually won an award, so that was pretty cool. The beginning, I'm giving a 7 out of 10. Also, it was kind of cool to see what the kid was going through before all the shit happened. The middle, I'm giving 8 out of 10, just because it showed us what the birch was. It was sort of like a witch monster. It was summoned by the book once the people recite it. And I'm giving a 8 out of 10 as well, just because the monster looked flawless. It looked great. And like you couldn't even really see it, like when the knife is held up to the boy's throat. If you look in the background, you see something move, and then it's right up on the guy. Visual effects, I'm giving a 9 out of 10 just because of how cool the birch looked, for an overall total of 78% out of 100. So now we're not going to do the movie reviews. I'm going to save that until next time, which should be on Saturday. So count this as sort of like a mini-sode, I guess. But again, go check out rhetoriccoffee.com to get a batch of delicious ethical coffee. And thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Comment what movie you guys want me to do. Comment what short film you guys want me to do. And I'll do it. Also, if you guys want to reach me, my email is oracleprops1@gmail.com. Send me in some horror stories if you guys want me to read them on the podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.